Well, great morning, guys. I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to their week. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I am Stanley Orchard. For anybody catching us in the non-live replay, I want to thank you for checking us out. I'm here with my brother Peter, and we're just going to have a little Monday morning chat. Peter, wonderful to have you here again, sir.
Yeah, it's fun to be here. I love doing this.
Yeah, me too. I'm enjoying this. I'm hoping this becomes a thing we can be, like we can implement long term and can keep doing.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm totally down for that. I know we were talking about doing it twice a week last week, but then we got you had to go fishing. That's
I had
cool.
a fishing trip. They called
what
me
it's
off
all
on
about.
Which we're going to talk about in a minute. We're going to talk about that fishing trip, not the actual fishing, but there are some portions of that trip that I'm just like, man, I waited all weekend. I'm like, man, I can't wait to talk to Peter about this, because this is the kind of stuff that you talk about Monday morning. Is not the fishing. I don't even want to get into the fishing because that's going to be a video. That's going to be its own thing. But all the stuff that happens surrounding a fishing trip is the things that I want to talk with you about, because you know as good as I, the wealth of stuff that just doesn't even get to make it into a video.
Mm-hmm.
Morning, everybody. We got popping in Jason C. That gentleman, check him out on Twitter. I joined up with his stuff. He does the what do you call that, Jason? The creator of the week? Is it creator of the week or month, something like that? I don't recall specifically. And now I'm totally lapsing on what your Twitter handle is. I apologize, but I appreciate you being here with us, man, and thank you. We got Red Bond. I don't know if I recognize your channel there. Sorry, it's Monday. Hadn't had enough coffee. I'm still waking up here. But Red Bond, hello. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, where are you from? What you doing? And how was your weekend? Did you get to do any fishing? Shannon Naylor, Paul Peck Drywall Tube. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Steve, Holland Ash. Of course, John with A&J Outdoors. It is an absolute pleasure to have everybody in here with us. It's Monday morning, so we're, getting some coffee and we're waking up, and I'm not 100% there yet. I'm trying.
I got my gallon of coffee.
Same here. I'm on my second refill with this, so I'm just now starting to hit my stride. How was everybody's weekend? What did you do? What is the water cooler talk of this wonderful Monday morning? I know that here we got something blowing through. Peter, I assume this thing probably hit you yesterday.
I only noticed it this morning and last night. It was in the 60s right now.
That's what it was.
It feels great outside. It's definitely better than the 114 degrees we had out there in the summertime. That was a little bit hard.
Yeah, I like summers, and I like the long days. And now that we have central AC in this house, it was murder when we were on window units. But now we have central AC. I've beefed up some of the insulation, replaced all the windows on the front wall. We had those old 1950s windows, pulled those out, and I replaced them with E85s. So now this house is actually able to kind of handle it. And I'm enjoying not being 110 degrees down here, but now, like you said, dude, this is nice. It's 72 degrees right now.
We got a bunch of the double pane windows pretty much around the whole house, right? And so it got hot. The AC broke at one point this summer, like brand new AC. We had to go get it fixed. Well, not a new AC, brand new house. Anyways, I tried to hook up. I was going to hook up this little window unit that I have, but all my windows were double pane, so there's no ventilation. There's no way to get the hot air out. So I was like, man, I have this really awesome AC that would cool down a good portion of the house, and I can't do anything with it because I can't open the windows to put an AC. And I was looking around, there's one vent, and that's for the dryer. So I wasn't going to do that. we just fixed the AC. But that's pretty toasty.
We got some more people rolling in here. Heavy Stringers, how are you doing, man? Morning. I know that's what we're talking about. Like, the weather's all nice this morning. Jessica, it is an absolute pleasure, ma'am. How are you doing? Central AC, man, you rolling high cotton. I know. Tell me about it. We installed this thing when we used to rent this house, and then the owners who own it, they moved to Sweden. They needed money for their kids' college education. So they let us know that they're going to put the house up for sale, and we were like, dude, we don't want to move. What do you want for the house? And the number that they gave us was like, okay, that's a doable number. And they kind of gave us a little bit more of a discount because they're like, if we don't have to list it, we don't have to mess with anything. You just want to buy it outright. Well, we'll knock off a little bit. And I was like, shoot, yeah, that is exactly what I want. So we bought the house, and then we bought it for an amount the bank wouldn't loan us that little amount of money. They don't make any interest when if you buy a house, say for like hypothetically $1,000, they make $20 in interest on that. They don't want to do that. So what we ended up doing was rolling a little bit more money into the house to do a remodel on it, to fix up some of the things that we wanted done, which I'm halfway through on absolutely everything after 5 years. If you've watched our videos and seen us, so that money went mainly towards putting in central AC. Is how that whole thing happened. Dennis, morning, man. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with this dude. How are you doing? And Red Bond says he's from Cal Allen. It follows the videos, man. I really, really appreciate that. We're doing what we can. Filmed one on Friday and had an interesting experience with it. So first off, before we do anything, Peter, I've got a story that I've been meaning to tell you for weeks. And I keep forgetting to do it, and now it's like, okay, now's the time to do it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it justice. It's just one of those comical things that happens in life. Kind of comical, kind of sad, but sad in a comical kind of way. But we were driving home from that last fishing trip, Dad and I. We'd been out, we were out fishing. We had filleted all the fish, cleaned the boat, did all that stuff. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and we've been up since 3 in the morning. So we're super tired. We're beat up. Worn out and sunburned and sore and everything else. We're driving home. We're driving through Taft, like that area that it's got all the wind farms and it's just flat land, and Taft sucks. I hate Taft. It's like the worst town ever.
Yeah, Taft is
most miserable like patch of earth on the planet.
I don't even like driving through Taft, and it's not even like a bad place to drive through. It's just
a straight line, but
yeah, it's 4 lights in the middle of the highway, but you get stuck at one of those red lights, and you're just kind of like, man, people live here. Yeah,
it's train tracks and cotton fields.
Wind generators.
Miserable people. Generators.
Actually, it got a little more interesting when they added the wind generators, but
yeah, there's red lights to look at now at night.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what you get.
Red blinky lights.
Yeah. So we're driving through there, and I think it was just before we got to Taft, may have been just after, I don't know. But we're basically, imagine, we're driving down this dark patch of highway where there's absolutely nothing except for twinkling red lights in the background. And as we're driving down there, and we're tired and worn out, and, we're awake, but we're beat up and worn out, driving home, ready to be home, ready to go to bed. And we've got that circle of light from the headlights, you can only see out so far. So something pops up on the highway, and all of a sudden you're like, you have just a short amount of time to recognize what that thing is, and if you need to divert your path or something to avoid hitting it. So we're driving down that road, and something pops up in the headlights in the middle of the road, and for a split, it takes us a split second to recognize what it is, but it's a bird standing in the middle of the road. But then we realize it's a duck. And the time frame from when he was at the edge of the headlights until like right in front of the car, in that time frame, he stands up and looks at us. And he just looked straight at us, and he almost looked mad. He almost looked at us like, "Do it, I dare you, do it." And then we plowed right over him. Like, you can't move, you can't swerve. You don't want to hit something. But now we're sitting there and we're driving down this highway, beat up and everything at the end of the day. And just all of a sudden, this duck in the middle just stands up and looks right at us. And then he hits the bumper. We plow right over him. And we both looked at each other like we couldn't have done anything. It's sad. I feel for the duck. But at the same time, what was he thinking? What was he hoping to accomplish by staring us down?
He probably was sitting there like in his thoughts, and then looks up and sees these bright lights, and is like, "What?" And then until it's over.
And it's like it called to mind. Like, we laughed all the way back to Beeville, and it was like, there was so many like, "Why did the duck cross the road?" jokes. Dad, I don't know if he ever did. He wanted to go check his bumper to see if the beak was sticking out of the bumper.
Y'all are messed up. That's like me teaching my kids how to open bottles.
Yes, okay. You got to tell us that story. Tell us the opening bottle story.
Of course, my kids are every time they're like, "Can I have a Gatorade? Can I have a drink?" And then, inevitably 5 seconds later, after I say yes, they come back. "Can you open it for me?" And I'm like, "All right, I got to teach these kids how to open bottles." So I'm like, the Gatorades, they're a little bit harder. So I liken it to like a rabbit's neck. To think rabbit's neck, and when you're opening it, you can hear the popping of the bottle. Now, something like a water bottle, that's more like a dove. You know what I mean? There's like, you don't hear as much. It's like a little, but you got your bigger bottle. That's Orchard sense of humor.
I'm seeing the subscriber numbers on the channel just
going down. They're like, these guys are sick.
This is not family oriented stuff. I can't believe you tell your kids this stuff. So that's how you gauge. That's how you gauge the difficulty of opening up a bottle. Is that a dove neck bottle, or is that are we talking kittens here?
And I'm trying to think of something that would be like a kitten. That's a hard neck to crack.
Oh my God. Feel free.
That might be like one of those big water jugs, that are like, they're really on there tight. I'd say everybody in the chat, feel free. Before you unsubscribe, feel free. Leave us a thumbs down. You can leave us a comment in the live chat. I know, cuss us out. I totally understand. That's just how it is. That was us. So growing up, we raised rabbits and we had ducks and chickens and stuff like that. So we would, we would harvest them. We would prepare them and eat them. And, we want to be. We don't go around murdering ducks.
No, we never did that. And ducks are one of those, like, we didn't really kill ducks. We'd go and hunt them, but we wouldn't kill the ducks that we had at the house. We did the chickens and rabbits for dinner. I really did enjoyed rabbit too. It was good.
Oh, man, rabbit's one of the best. Work.
Steve, you have a wonderful day, sir. Enjoy it, man, and good luck. Oh, man, speaking of animals, I got a story. I don't know. Let me know. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. I got another story kind of along these lines that I'm happy to tell. If we're making you uncomfortable, let me know. We can go back to talking fishing and stuff like that. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. We're referring to childhood stuff, and we've got that gallows humor about things that, like rabbits. We were raised, we raised rabbits, and we, butchered.
When you're like raising and butchering animals, it's not like you don't feel for animals. You try to do it humanely and everything, but it also gives you a different perspective as opposed to growing up eating McDonald's every day. I don't know. I guess some people would be easier to criticize. You might get. We end up with a kind of a sick sense of humor.
Yeah, and also we're talking about killing animals, which you have to have respect for the animals that you kill. Rabbits, man, we cuddle them. We were gentle. We were loving. We fed them well. When it was their time, it was their time. Whether it was pigs, rabbits, chickens, fish, whatever, you treat them with respect. You treat them very nice. They can't be pets, but you do treat them nice and with respect until that time comes. That's the part that you don't talk about when you're talking about harvesting animals for food and stuff.
You said Peter, cuddle the rabbits until the you're cuddling the rabbit until it's its time, and then it's the water bottle. too soon?
No, that's perfect.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. So Jason C, this is like the greatest question you could ever ask me because I've eaten a lot of stuff. Peter, what is the strangest animal you ever ate? And just before you answer, Red Bun says snapping turtle. I have never eaten snapping turtle. I've never eaten turtle. It is on the bucket list. I just don't think it's that good. So it's not like I'm really dying to try it. But that's an interesting one.
Weird foods, man. I actually like octopus, but that's not weird to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Like squirrels, we ate a squirrel. I think we ate a squirrel once in Boy Scouts. And
Yeah, we're getting squirrel.
It wasn't bad.
That's not that uncommon. That's kind of like a mini rabbit.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I've eaten anything that like out there. I'm not a fan of amphibians like frogs. I agree. I might have had turtle soup once, but I don't remember liking it or disliking it. I'm just not a big fan of like frog legs or anything. I know I'm like jaded on that. And I don't think it has anything to do. I don't think it has anything to do with like. I mean, I love frogs. Frogs are one of my favorite animals, and I don't think that it has to do with that. I just don't like the taste. Rabbit's one of my favorite. Alligator is one of my favorites.
Mountain oysters is what Red Bond's saying here. I don't remember if we've done that.
I don't think I ever have.
I don't know, because we went to Colorado that time, and my uncle's got land. He's a rancher up there, and we went and did some ranching stuff, and I don't remember if we ate that or not. We talked about it. I don't remember. You
know, shrimp raw, like straight out of the water. I ate that shrimp that one time. That thing tasted it tastes exactly like a cooked shrimp. I mean, I know, whoa, that's a big surprise, but the texture was the only thing that was different. It kind of surprised me. I thought, cooking it, for some reason, I imagined eating like a raw shrimp would taste differently than like the flavor of a shrimp would taste differently after it's cooked. But I guess kind of like steak or something, the flavor changes depending on how raw or rare it is. But shrimp, man, it's only the texture. They're really mushy when they're like, still kicking.
I agree. And I've done shrimp raw, and it's okay. It's like Red Bond says down here. It's more pungent. He says really strong flavor. He's talking about the mountain oysters.
Yeah, I've never had that.
But yeah, shrimp, I felt like that was, when we were surfing growing up, we'd pick them out of the seaweed and eat them so that we get to sit out there, longer. We'd surf for like 16 hours a day when we could. So we would do that. We'd pick the shrimp out and eat them, and they were tiny little ones, so you don't really taste them. Now, I've eaten bigger ones raw, but I was just...
We ate that fish raw. Like, we caught some kind of bait fish offshore once, and then I remember we were going to use it for bait, and me and you were just sitting there curious. I wonder how good it tastes. So me and you ate it, and it was actually pretty good. I don't remember what it was little.
Bonita.
It was Bonita? That was a while back.
Yeah, Bonita's one that we always feed people. This is going to tie into the conversation that I have for us in just a moment. But we always... you get hazed. If you bring somebody out on the boat for the first time, they finally make it out there on the boat with you, you get hazed. One of the things that you get hazed about is you got to eat some fish raw on the boat. And so we always try to catch up a bonita, which is like a mini crappy tuna. It's a tuna. It's just the crappy end of the tuna species, really bloody meat. But I mean, you cut out the bloodline and you eat the meat part of it, and it's just like a little bit fishier tasting tuna.
Almost like sushi, almost as good.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't eaten jellyfish. Like you and Rachel in that video. I've never eaten jellyfish. I don't think. So maybe I don't remember.
So in answer to the initial question, what's the weirdest thing you ever ate? Jellyfish. That's my answer. That was something. And we had to eat it twice because we missed it on the first take. We had to do a second take on the jellyfish. That sucked. That sucked so bad. But we did it.
I can't think. Thing. I mean, weird is, I guess, how far away from around here. That certain things that'd be completely normal to eat, but then you go, I don't know, up north somewhere and eating, I don't know, something like raw oysters or clams would be disgusting to them. But I don't know if there's anywhere in the country that would be like that. But with oysters,
I agree.
But I love oysters.
To me, things that are weird, squirrel is weird to me. Now that's a little bit weird to me too. That's not weird for, like, I mean, people up north, they got fatter squirrels, and that's kind of a normal thing. That's not unheard of. But I've probably eaten one in my life.
I think I've eaten like one, and it's what's weird to me is that it's weird because there's so many squirrels. You'd think, that wouldn't be such a bad source of protein. Yeah, and I love rabbit, man. Rabbit's good. I know I've gotten a lot of trash talk for this, but I actually like rabbit way more than deer.
Oh, I can't argue with that. It's the quantities. Like deer, you get so much more. But man, I think rabbit meat is it's sweeter.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Mo? Meat. Appreciate you joining us, man.
And if we could eat alligator more frequently, I would eat alligator all the time because that alligator tail is so good.
I totally agree.
But you can't do it here in Texas, right? I mean, the rules are so strict about it that you can't. It's not like I think in Florida, can you just go kill, or is it Louisiana? You can just go get an alligator.
Well, they're different in every state. And John, if you wouldn't mind, do you happen to know the rules on alligator down here? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe like in Florida, you can just get a tag like what we do with a redfish here. I think you have to go and get it, but you get the tag. In Louisiana, I think you actually have bag limits or something. In Texas, you have to go and apply for some kind of license. Like you have to be a rancher and you have to apply for the ability to take them off of your land, something like that. I don't think you can openly hunt them here.
Yeah, I think they're protected. So you'd have to get some kind of tag or something from what I understand. Stingray, that's a good one.
Stingray is really good. Hey,
that's a really good one.
How are you, ma'am? Good morning.
Scallop. Gator tail is awesome.
Yeah, I love gator tail. Stingray, you need to try Stingray because it's really, really good. Weird to fillet, but Stingray is really, really good. You can get tags here, but it must be hunted on private land. So you have to get the tag. Well, everything is hunted on private land. Like that weirds me out about Wisconsin. They have places you can go to hunt in public. Like they just have like places. You're like, you want to go hunting? You go walk out there and go hunting. You get your license and you're good to go. That doesn't happen down in Texas. You have to know somebody. You have to know someone with a ranch, which isn't that hard because everybody here has a ranch. Yeah. And then you go hunting on their ranch.
If you know somebody who knows somebody with a ranch, you could probably get onto that ranch. I mean, I would imagine if you wanted to, it wouldn't be that hard to get onto that ranch. Then again, if I owned a ranch, I'd probably have some kind of screening process before I let somebody go hunting on my ranch.
We do have public land. John's right. Sorry to interrupt. We do have public land. He's right about that. It's just not as much. It's not as easily accessible, in my opinion, as the stuff you find in Wisconsin. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Oh, well, they also thinking here about the Stingray. You know, it might be weird to fillet, but didn't we just take cookie cutters that one time and then just stamp it out? Like stamp out, what do you call it? Scallops?
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy way to do it.
I disagree. I mean, everybody says scallops, and I just don't see it with Stingray. I've cooked them so many different ways. Now, to me, and we're going to have to experiment with this next time we get together, but to me, I actually wanted to try this year. If we can line it up, might play with this. To me, it tastes like dark meat turkey.
Yeah.
Is what Stingray.
And it's got that stringy
texture to it.
The way it wraps, remember that time I cooked in a Port Aransas? We were cooking Stingray. I was kind of surprised because I think that was the first time I'd ever actually cooked Stingray. But it like wrapped itself up like it curled up, and I was expecting it to do something different. Like I'd never seen fish do that before, cooking.
Yeah, it did. It had that little thing to it,
which gives me ideas, I guess, for how to cook it next time, because that was actually kind of neat. But I like the texture. But I didn't cook. That was a fillet. I didn't cook it like a little stamp. I wonder if I'd cooked it like fried it or something. I wonder if it had been different. Like a nice thick piece of Stingray, man. A nice big cookie.
Oh, here we go. What's this? John from A&G Outdoors says, Alligator Solution Gator Hunts hosted by Meyer Ranch Bootmakers. I'm going to have to look into that. And actually, I want to look into that, but I have no problems. Like, I want to get a gator. It's been a minute. I've got two options. If we have problems on a buddy's ranch over here, I will be the first one to volunteer swimming that bait out for him. And second, I have no problems going to Florida or Louisiana to get a gator. We've been talking about making a Louisiana trip, to be honest with you, a tuna trip. But
we should do a video. I like that idea with the gator hunt video. That'd be fun.
Dude, Katie.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to jump in the water like you or Dad. Growing up, okay, the got to tell the gator story. What was that at? That was at
Don't say the name. Don't say the name. We don't want to do. So, I don't know if there's like issues with that liability.
Undisclosed location
at a friend's ranch.
there was a bunch of alligators. We were kids, and my dad wanted to show us the alligators. So he goes out onto a dock and reaches down into the water and just pulls one out. How big was that thing? I was a kid, so all I remember is Dad laying down on this dock, and there's nothing. It's just a dock on a river or a lake or something. Yeah. And you can't see anything. I mean, I thought he was going to pull a frog out of the water. Like, oh, Dad caught a frog. No, he pulls a whole alligator out of the water.
What happened was awesome. What it was. I thought you were going to tell a different story on that one. But,
no.
Yeah, what it was the alligator. The alligator was bigger than the dock. We estimate 12, 13 foot. But what he did was that alligator swam up, and he was calm. He was docile, lazy. He swam up underneath the dock, so he didn't have the ability to turn his head or anything, So my dad caught that, and he's like, oh, there's nothing he can do. So my dad laid down and reached up under that dock and grabbed his foot and pulled it out so that we could all touch the foot and pet it. When we did, that alligator just laid there. He didn't move, but that foot was massive. Massive foot.
Yeah, those were the days. I miss doing that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I wouldn't even do with my kids. Like, I've got daughters, and they probably would run away screaming, but I kind of want to do stuff like that.
He tell you about the shark ball he put them on?
Mm-mm.
I didn't hear about this until way after the fact, and I think it's hilarious, and I trust Dad, but he took the girls out fishing in Port Aransas one time on the boat, and Cassidy and Hazel were there. It was all of our daughters. So they went around to the north side of the Port A jetty on that beach side, and they're by the jetty. And I think he put them in the water, and they were swimming around. There's a big bait ball, swimming around there. So they're looking at the fish and doing this whole thing. Well, he pulls them back in the boat after they're done swimming and stuff, and it turns out that wasn't a bait ball. That was a ball of baby sharks. It was
that's cool.
They were in there swimming around with a big ball of sharks.
Hey, man, every time you go swimming out there, even at the beach, they're there. You just don't see them most of the time.
Dude, Heavy Fingers, he says that there's a seafood restaurant over there. He's in the Houston area. They serve alligator bites. We don't see a lot of that down here. You can get it. People do it. But, man, I had that one last time I went to Florida. I went to a restaurant and ordered alligator. It was really good, but, man, dude, that homemade stuff is pretty dang killer.
I have a hard time eating, like, I don't know, I go to a restaurant and eat some fish or something. Like, I went to South Carolina once, like 10 years ago, and I ate at a fancy restaurant, and we ate some fish. I was like, oh, Gulf shrimp. I want to see how they cook Gulf shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was just saying, like, man, I could have gotten this at, like, Papa Joe's or something, or it wasn't very good. It was like, and I'm like, I felt bad that's what they thought Gulf shrimp tastes like. It's like salty and nasty, and man, I'm sorry, that's just not the way to do shrimp. It's not popcorn shrimp. They're Gulf shrimp. They're trying to popcornize Gulf shrimp.
Yeah, which people. I've had several people ask about this, and just real quick here, Shannon, I totally agree with coconut oil. Coconut. Yeah. And what's the other one? Avocado. I think it's avocado are the ones that we just love using for everything. So we've hit up a couple of shrimp boats recently this year, and we actually, recent video, hit up a shrimp boat, and they actually traded us some Gulf shrimp, like the stuff way offshore, the 30-mile offshore shrimp. And they traded us some, and man, people ask about that, like, why do you do that and whatnot. What they don't understand is that we traded and we joke about it in the thing. Perry bought a case of Frio beer. Have you heard that whole story? He bought a case of Frio beer. It's like $4 a case, and he traded that for shrimp. He didn't tell them what he was giving them. He just said, "You want some beer?" And they're like, "Yeah." And like, "Well, we'll trade you some beer for shrimp." Did that whole thing. Put it in a bag and threw them the bag. And of course they agreed to it. So they look at the beer and they're like, "Oh, fuck these guys." It was gross beer.
Frio? Why would he give him Frio beer?
He did it by accident. He saw it at the store. He just picked up Frio. He'd never had it, so he didn't know if it was good or bad or not. He just happened to pick up one of the worst beers ever.
Yeah, that's just a little Keystone.
Yeah, so he trades them that, and
I actually like Keystone.
I every beer has its place. I do like Keystone also, but he trades them that, and they send back. They must have given us a 5-gallon bucket of shrimp. Like, do you know what the street value of 5 gallons of shrimp is? It's way more than a $4 case of Frio.
Yeah. Oh, it was
I want to say
just
it's probably $100 worth of shrimp.
It was just like a small case. It was like not like a 30 pack or anything.
It's like an 18 pack. You can't argue.
Pretty good trade. Yeah, that's pretty good trade.
Yeah. So Katie's saying, yeah, that was the funny part of it. So Perry he had the right idea. He just pulled this off wrong. But he puts the beer in the case. He hands him the case. They hand him the case back full of shrimp. And Perry's like, oh, we got one of those boats. One of the ones that, they hook you up on the shrimp. They were all headed and everything, man. This was a haul. So Perry's like, hey, ask them if they want this 18-pack of Budweiser. And we go up there, and of course, the English is broken, and there's not quite I don't think we said Budweiser, but we pull back up to him. Dad's like, hey, you want more beer? We want more shrimp. And they kind of look at that Frio, and they're like, no. Have you ever known those guys to turn down beer?
It's Frio, man. I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
Oh, I know.
It's like going to a party and it's like free beer, and then you see that it's Frio beer, and you're like, I think I'm going to Netflix and chill today.
Yeah, do you guys got water? Or is your water as gross as your beer?
I think I'm just going to go home now and just think about my life.
We went out again on Friday. That's why we missed out on doing another one of these live streams on Fridays, because I went out another trip with them, and we had Budweiser this time for the trip. Actually didn't make a trade, though. We didn't run into any parked shrimpers. We did run into one, and they were worthless, so we didn't even get them on video. Probably best for them. I mean, I don't think those guys, they don't know they're on camera, and I try to cover up all the information. If you watch that video, like, man, I was tracking the blur area so that you can't see it on that shrimp boat, and the boat's rocking, and they're rocking. Man, tracking that was so impossible. But I guarantee anybody who watches that, you're not going to see the name of the boat, but if you know that boat, you're still going to recognize it.
No, it's one of those boats. Yeah. Instantly recognizable one. We're going to pass that boat. Let's just go to the next boat.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to get these guys in trouble, but at the same time, I'm going to get this on camera. This is a unique part of the experience of going offshore, and that's trying to trade with the guys offshore.
Side note, you can always send me those clips if you need to blur something out. I could get it done in like 10 minutes.
Man, I tell you what, I might take you up on that, because that probably took me an hour for like what was probably 20 seconds worth of clip, tracking that blur, because I didn't want it to cover up Dad or anything else. I just wanted to cover up the name of the boat, and that sucked.
Yeah, I can do that real quick. I was like sitting there thinking of how I could do it all complex. Then it just occurred to me that would be a super easy thing to do.
On mine, all I can do is tell it, like, it's here. I can move up 1 second and say, okay, no, I want it here. Yeah. And then 1 second more, and no, I want it here. I can't actually like track a.
Well, I mean, that's essentially how I do it. But it's on a computer, you can like get it. It's a little bit easier to edit that kind of stuff than on a phone. You're like moving the blurs, and anyways.
Dude, Texas Rattlesnake. Hey, if this is your first time here, I don't recognize your channel name. I apologize in advance if this is not your first time. If it is, where are you from? And thank you very much for joining us, man. It's a pleasure to have you here, and congratulations. 2 20-inch Spanish mackerel over the past month. I have caught a couple of Spanish mackerel this month, nowhere near 20 inches. Kudos on that. I'd love to know. And I know some tricks on Spanish mackerel that I just learned, haven't even used. I heard shad was like candy to those guys. But yeah, I do want tips on Spanish mackerel. They're out there, and I'm just not catching them like I would expect to.
Rattlesnake's another one of those food.
That's a good one. I like rattlesnake.
Yeah, I like rattlesnake. There's not much meat, but it's pretty good stuff. It is.
It's been a minute. Like, I can't even really talk towards what it tastes like, because it's been a minute since I've had rattlesnake.
It's like chicken. It's like how the stingray tastes. It's like chicken flavored stingray. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Texas Rattlesnake. No. I didn't mean that. I meant just like in the live streams in general. Sorry about that. I have seen your name before. It's just been a minute since, or I don't recall having seen you in a live stream. Is what I was referring to. Sorry about that. Yeah, rattlesnake. I put rattlesnake right there with alligator. Not up there with alligator. I take that back. I love alligator. Rattlesnake's the tier under that, but same kind of flavor and texture to it.
Yeah,
I just remember it tasting like chicken nuggets to me. Like I like it. I know that's not what it's like. But.
It's been a while, but I remember chicken being like the flavor. But everything tastes like chicken, right?
Yeah, that's like the worst. I'm gonna make up my own like everything tastes like amberjack.
Oh yeah,
that's how I'm just gonna start using.
You should sell shirts.
It tastes like amberjack.
Yeah, everything tastes like amberjack.
I might make that a shirt. That'd be fun. The shirts that we have online right now say I don't like doing merch with our name on it, and I put my name, Stanley Orchard. I don't like doing that. It's just too I'm all full of myself, and I might joke like that. I'm not actually like that. I make fun of people doing that by tongue in cheek doing the same thing. For those of you guys who watch our video, kind of understand I have that dry sense of humor. But so I did make a T-shirt on our merch little thing down there that says it's got my name, Stanley Orchard, but then it says on top of it and underneath it, it says I stole this shirt from Stanley Orchard, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
That's funny.
That's my Stanley Orchard branded shirt.
I need to get some more shirts going.
The way, Texas rattlesnake, the way you catch a Spanish mackerel, you catch them is you get your kayak. It's the way to get everything. Take a spoon, drop it next to where the first waves break in the surf. Yeah. Go out to almost pull the reel, stop and reel. I totally agree with that. Now, I know they travel in the surf on clear days. When I fish for Spanish mackerel, it's typically off of the jetties. Oh, really, Shannon? You going to do that to me? Okay, we can do a more Peter shirt. I can do that.
I like that. We should do more. We should do more Peter shirts.
All right, I'll write that down.
Hashtag more Peter shirts.
Hashtag more Peter. I'm writing that down. Now, Spanish mackerel, I totally agree with that. That is where the majority of a lot of fish travel is outside that last break. That's where I do the majority of my fishing, although I'll swim baits out to that area, but because of the amount of work it takes to get them out there, I typically take a really, really big bait and chunk that out. Spanish mackerel love spoons, so you got that dead on. Now, what I have seen people doing is taking a shad and putting that under a popping cork and putting that out there, and those guys are catching them left and right. And I don't know that much about it other than I've seen that work really, really well, catching them when nobody else is catching anything else at all. So I'm going to be experimenting with that one. But you got the right idea. Getting out past that last break and using a spoon, that's going to be good for a lot of things. You're going to catch a lot of fish that way. Jason C., sir, thank you very much for joining us. You guys check him out on Twitter. That's he does the Creator of the Week, and he's got one of the best Twitter accounts that I have come across. I am a big fan. Duty calls, totally understand. Mr. Goody, very much appreciate you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's John, you got a great question there. Use wire? I did for the longest time, and I couldn't get into them because I fish for Spanish mackerel the way you fish for kingfish, and I switched over to using a fluorocarbon leader, just a little bit thicker fluoro. You're going to lose some lures that way, but you're going to catch a lot more fish. My personal opinion on that. I've almost totally gone away from wire leader, with the exception being larger sharks. That big shark that I caught in that video a while back when we were offshore, a couple of videos ago, I caught that thing on an amberjack rig with, I want to say it was like 150-pound mono leader. I didn't even have a wire leader on that thing, and I caught him. So they will cut you off, but you're going to catch more fish, I think, without those wire leaders. I'm just about done with wire leaders. Only reason I don't use shad is because I catch catfish whenever I use them. Yeah, which is why you need them under a popping cork. Keep them off of the bottom. So, Peter.
Yeah.
This is the topic of conversation that I really wanted to get to today. I want to talk about the other stuff that happens on a fishing trip. In particular, getting invited out onto a boat. Here's the deal. So on Friday, I went out with Perry and Dad. I went out on Thrill Ride. And this is kind of it's a little bit of a monument kind of a trip for me. This was my 6th trip. I believe it was my 6th trip on Thrill Ride. I have now logged 50 hours on that boat, which I'm totally stoked about. This is a milestone accomplishment for me. I'm 50 hours in, 6 trips. I'm no longer the tourist on the boat. I'm no longer the guy that gets invited out for the fun weekend kind of let's go have some fun trip. Now I'm actually like able to do stuff. You know what I mean? I'm actually like kind of able to be like a guy who, when nobody else gets invited out, I'm the guy that can get invited and actually be a part of the boat, like, log some labor. And I'm stoked about that milestone. You know what I'm talking about? Because people don't get invited on boats.
I mean, I haven't been on the thrill ride yet, and as soon as if I ever do, it's going to be like, I'm going to be the one that they're just like, oh my God, why do we bring him along? I'll try. I'm not going to be like a pain in the ass like I was when I was a kid, but I'm completely, when it comes to those kind of trips, I have maybe not zero experience, but nothing like what y'all do with that when you're going out there for tuna and everything. I haven't done that. So I'll be complete greenhorn, if that's an appropriate term. I don't even know if that works, but
I would, yeah, greenhorn is that's a totally apropos. But even then, I think like you've been out on Dad's boat enough times, so you've logged in a lot of hours offshore. Obviously, Thrill Ride is a new boat, so different. At least I don't get seasick. It's a little bit different. Yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, greenhorn, like I don't. There's different like categories of the invitation status. Like there's that person who's like never been. You're gonna invite them out, and you guys are gonna go have a fun day. You're gonna catch some fish. Not gonna stay out too late. Not gonna beat you up too much. There's gonna be a lot of snacks on the boat. I'll be out there just to catch.
Like I'll be the guy that's just out there to catch something, and do whatever they need me to do. But I'm not out there like, okay, I need this so I can catch this fish, and I'm on like a mission. I've never really been one of those on a mission fishermen.
I think your tier on that is going to be more of like, okay, you've caught this stuff. You've caught mahi, you've caught kingfish, you've caught sharks and other things. Your first time on like Thrill Ride would be that trip where it's like, okay, now it's time to get you that thing that you haven't caught before.
Yeah, pretty much. I've never caught a tuna. I think that'd be awesome.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I've never caught a tuna either, other than bonita. I have not yet caught tuna.
I've never caught like a sailfish either. I've never caught a marlin, sailfish, swordfish, any of those.
I haven't caught marlin. I've caught swords and I've caught sailfish.
Maybe a sailfish when I was like younger, like one of those dad caught the sailfish and I reeled him in kind of a thing. Maybe one of those.
Shannon Naylor says she doesn't go fishing with her husband because he makes her the grunt. That's what I'm saying. I've actually I've worked to the point of being the grunt. When needed, if Thrill Ride needs a grunt, and that's what Friday was, I got invited out to be the grunt, and I was the grunt, and I put in as much labor as I could. I have to be told to do things, but now I know what to do when I'm told to do a thing. That's the level that I'm at. Yeah, nice. Okay, so you want to see an awesome fishing trip. John, feel free to post the link if you want to, because that was a really rad. He went to Jamaica and got himself a marlin. At HEB, is that what you said?
I've caught tuna at HEB too.
That's awesome. Louisiana, yeah, we're talking about that. My dad and Perry went a couple years ago to Venice. They went and did a tuna trip out there, and they learned a lot. Like that's how they learned their tuna skills was fishing with a guide out in Louisiana. So yeah, I want in on that. Although I really want to learn the swordfish stuff. Apparently, we're having serious issues trying to get ourselves swordfish. It's been a minute since we got one. I don't understand what's going on with that. Why that's not working. It worked when they first started doing it. Now it's been probably a year since we pulled one in.
I know how to cook tuna. I know a couple of really good recipes.
Yeah, I've made it. Cooking it.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple.
I
Well,
freeze it.
I'm not talking about just like not cooking the tuna, but like searing it obviously on either side of it, but more like the sauce and the stuff that goes with the tuna.
I started searing stuff in balsamic vinegar, and that came out. We did wahoo like that, and then I did redfish like the next day, exact same way. Comes out. That's a good one. I'm adding that one to the repertoire.
I like it wine, using like white wine and all that.
I like sherry. I totally agree.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we ate tuna in Port Aransas years ago, and it was really interesting, man. It was a black cube, almost as black as this wall over here, and it had a pink drizzle. Now, I'm pretty good with sauces. I tried the sauce and was like, I know exactly what that is. That's like a ginger onion cream sauce kind of a thing, right? Fried onion, ginger. But man, I couldn't. I know that's like a technique, but I don't know how they did that blackened, like the whole thing. It was like a black cube of tuna, and of course, when you cut into it, it's like pink. It's barely cooked at all on the edges, but it was pretty good. I don't know how they do that.
Was it? Did it have sesame seed on it? John's asking. And guys, that link that John got there, that's to his Marlin video. It's worth checking out. That was a good one.
I don't remember if it had sesame seeds on it. It might have. It might have had sesame seeds on the top.
Raw tuna with cold rice is my favorite food. I'm not going to say tuna is my total absolute favorite, but sushi is my favorite food, period. Regardless of what kind of fish on there, even the sea urchin stuff I like.
I like tuna and salmon, I think, are my top favorites.
I agree, John.
Just underneath those two, but I think when it comes to fish.
And we have, dude, I'm stoked about this. This guy's been, I don't know where you've been, Mike. I know you got stressful stuff going on the farm out there, whatever's going on. I don't know. We've missed you. And dude, I am totally, totally stoked to have you in here with us today, man. How are you doing? I do love tuna, but man, I tell you what, I'm spoiled. I like swordfish. I like swordfish, tilefish.
Swordfish is good.
Yeah. I like swordfish just raw. I don't even.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I
sear it for like 30 seconds. I've been told not to do that. I've been told to freeze it before because I want to eat it raw on the boat, but whatever.
Yeah, that's the other thing, out on the boat, and then you're like, you want to dig into, like, you got a good fish, and you're like, can we cut it open now? And then, no, Peter. You get your hands off they had to lock the ice chest for me.
I had to get told that too, and this is how they told me, because we caught a wahoo on the last trip, not Friday, but trip prior, and I'm like, dude, I'm a little bit hungry. You have some wasabi in the cooler. I wouldn't mind taking a little bitty chunk out of his head and having a little snack. And we've done that before. Not a big deal. And Perry and Dad are like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, what's the deal? And they're like, parasites. I was like, parasites. He's got parasites. It's fine, whatever. So we don't eat it. We get back and we fillet it, and then they cut open his stomach, and they're like, here, check this out. And they open up his stomach, and he's got a parasite like that in there. And they're like, see, this is why we don't eat them on the boat like that anymore. And I'm like, okay,
I just got a message from Charles. Charles just sent me a message saying I need to get down there and do some fishing. I totally agree, Charles. I can't wait to get back down there. Actually, I need to talk to you after this show about 2 weeks from now. Luke will be down. Little spoiler
mid-October,
alert.
I believe the 13th.
He's coming down on the 13th. He's going to be here for a week. And originally we were going to come down that weekend before, until we realized it was that day that he's going to be down. So I know we'll be down. I think we're going to be coming down that weekend after the 13th. So we'll be here at the latter end of his trip. I kind of want to come down sooner than that if I can, and maybe help mom and dad around the house or something. I don't know where everyone's staying, but I would like to do something like that. If I can come down sooner, maybe we can go fishing if I do that.
We are, okay, without dropping any spoilers, at the beginning of this year. What's that?
We should do a live stream for sure.
We're going. Luke is our youngest brother, by the way. Hey, Christina. Good morning, ma'am. Appreciate you joining us. So at the beginning of this year, well, we're on our third season of fishing content, and this has been a messed up year. However, in our very first video, we set the precedent of a couple of things that we wanted to do with this season's worth of fishing. I can't spoil a couple of videos that we have coming out this week, next couple of weeks. But we are very, very close to accomplishing the majority of the goals that we set for ourselves at the very beginning of this season. So I want to tie all that together. I want to tie up this season. The next couple of trips that we film are going to be, make or break this season. Like, this is go time. This is important. This is fishing season. And we are just now down to accomplishing those goals. I would dearly, dearly love if when we went out with Luke, if we accomplished our goals, if we finished this season on the note of like finishing these goals, and we do it with you and Luke and mom and dad and Rachel and the girls on a trip in Port Aransas, to me, that would just sum up perfectly this season. So I'm putting a lot of pressure and emphasis on this week. And I know Luke's coming down and it's his week, but screw all that. This is going to be the tie up of our season on this. So I need this whole week to go perfect for that reason. Yeah,
that sounds, so we're going to have to take it up a notch. We're going to have to like push the limits. This video. Okay.
Yeah, this is that last episode of a season, you know what I mean? Where it's like you got to throw out all the production budget, you got to push everything, you got to make it big, and we need some kind of cliffhanger for the next season.
Did he survive?
Yeah, that's exactly how we're gonna do something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be one of those trips. Okay.
We need to film a scene for fun, Peter. We do need to film a scene where it's like, like after the fishing thing is done and the whole deal's over and it's all done with, then we need to have like that scene of like the hand coming up out of the water. And they cut the black.
Classic hand. That's funny. Oh,
like, man. Is he still alive?
The shredder out of the garbage hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was just thinking like that dead hand in the sand, and then
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun trip, and I'm hoping I can make it down there a little bit sooner. And I wasn't a super fan growing up, but this winter I kind of feel like doing some freezing cold fishing, clamming, whatever. Like I kind of miss that. Like, it's been a long time. Maybe it's because this summer got so hot that I'm like, man, I really want to just throw myself into these horrible. They're not horrible experiences, but I think I want to throw myself into a freezing trip. Like, I remember like almost getting hypothermia because I didn't bring a jacket like they told me to when I was a kid.
I do want to get clams this year. We haven't done that on video yet. We haven't done that one. Oysters. Now, we've never really done an oyster trip. We've just picked them up on clamming trips. But
we haven't done.
Let's go get some pearls.
Man, that sounds cool. We haven't done flounder in a long time.
And if he's still in the room, I'm not sure if he is, but Heavy Stringers, a gentleman out of Houston, he specializes on gigging flounder and stuff. I plan on trying to utilize him to do a flounder trip. John, I don't know if you've done a flounder gigging or a flounder trip anytime recently, but also want you in on that conversation. I agree. I want to go get some flounder. I plan on trying to get that done this winter.
I also, since I'm up here in Waco and everything, I don't ever get to go to the beach, and I'm not a good freshwater fisherman at all. So I'm trying to learn I've been watching some videos, trying to learn how to do some more freshwater fishing. And right now, the most promising thing that I'm the most interested in is this catfish. I want to do one of those laying out the hooks, along the bank and then coming back, or like just chilling out for a couple hours and then checking them. But that's something I kind of want to do. All my spoons or whatever I haven't been able to catch anything.
Well, I got to say, first off, I've learned a lot about freshwater fishing recently, thanks in very large part to a lot of the gentlemen in the chat down here, John, Grant, and Mosier Boy, Nicholas Pouliot, some other channels that I enjoy watching. I learned a lot from them. Going up to Wisconsin this summer, I learned a lot about freshwater fishing, going up there and experiencing it and catching and doing. So I've learned a lot. And it's funny because now looking back, when you and I went out to Lake Waco and did that fishing that day,
which that's where I'm at.
Comical AJ. Looking back on it.
Hey, that was actually cool. We didn't catch anything, but turbo doe. The turbo doe was awesome.
Yeah, we're using bow balls on the bottom, hoping for bass.
Yeah. You know what? You know what I realized? That spot we were in, which is a really cool spot, but we were like tossing baits in like 4 inches of water. Did you know that thing actually extends out like another, I don't know, like half a block? We could have literally just gotten off of the thing and off of the little bank and walked into the water for another 50 feet. And then if we might have caught something if we'd done that, but I mean, we're just having fun.
I thought it was like, I assumed it was 2 to 3 feet deep, you know, and maybe there's some bass in there. But yeah, I mean, that's 4 inches of water. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't look like it, and it's hard to tell because there's a bunch of trees sticking out of it and everything, but out of the water. But where we were standing, we were literally on the edge of like a big flat. You know what I mean? It's 4 inches of water, maybe 5 to 6 inches for another good 50 feet or so. And then it starts to drop off. I've been out there a few times since. And that's where it's a good spot to go look for frogs.
Hey, which again, that's another thing. You know, we're a fishing channel, so we don't show all of that kind of stuff. But one of the things I do dearly love is hiking around and seeing wildlife.
I found so many trails. Since back then, we just moved to Waco, so I didn't know that many, and I didn't know anything about Waco. But we've explored, and man, there are some amazing trails that just follow the river for miles, man, and they just go through the woods. And you're like, you know, you can hike in either direction. You'll either hit the river or a road, but it's in the downtown area. But we don't have a big cityscape of buildings downtown. It's all kind of small. So they have these big parks, and the trails they spread. They go all over the place. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I almost got lost.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, next time y'all come, I want to take y'all out on the trails.
Absolutely. God, we had a blast that last couple of times we did that. Every time we've gone up there and done that stuff with you, we've had a just total blast with it. Real quick here. First off, we got Not a Clue Fishing joining us. Appreciate you joining us, man. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday morning. John says, I wanted to address this. Maybe one day you two meet up in the middle, San Antonio, which is where he is from, and we do a catfishing trip. John, here's my okay. So we were talking about getting invited on a boat that also, you know, extends to just being invited on fishing trips. San Antonio is your neck of the woods, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I don't want to invite myself on somebody else's trip or anything else. However, if you ever need assistance with gas on a trip, if you ever need a deckhand, if you ever need not even a boat trip person, but somebody to haul gear, somebody to carry stringers, anything along those lines, my brother and I are more than happy to volunteer our services for any trip you want to do. You tell us when and where you want to do this, and we will follow suit. You know, we're not going to like try to set everything up and try to force, you know, a round peg into a square circle, whatever deal.
I thought you were going to say, if you need any help doing any of the bitch work, like my brother Peter here, just call him. He'll be there.
Pretty much. That's how those things go down. So you just say when you want help.
Yeah. Peter's right here. He's right next to me in this screen.
Peter, I love this. He said, okay, this is important. So the majority of the fishing that we do is summertime, spring, summer, and fall. Wintertime and subsequently freshwater fishing are the things that I'm really worst at. Those are the not things that I'm good at. He says that catfishing up in the San Antonio area, he says wintertime is the time to do it. So man, John, you just tell us when you want somebody to carry gear or tackle whatever you want, You tell us what physical stuff you want. Laundry done, or you want somebody to carry groceries into the house. You just let us know. We'll be there.
Yeah, you have to show me how to do some freshwater fishing, because I don't know how to do freshwater fishing. I was actually down on the river fishing. I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I was fishing with the girls, trying to teach them, and Hazel's pretty good. She's learning how to cast. She's getting really good. Anyways, we were fishing, and somebody came over and was like, "Catch anything?" Typical. Did you catch anything? And I was like, if it was salt water, I would, just laughing at myself. And he just went, and then just kept walking away.
It's not salt water, so
I forgot I'm like a couple 100 miles away from salt water. Nobody up here, they don't think that's funny. Yeah. If it was salt water, I'd be catching fish all day long.
Okay. When we're out at the jetty fishing,
have a nice day.
This is an issue I come across with that exact same conversation. We're sitting on the jetty, and we'll be catching fish, or another one that happens. Same conversation. I'll be spear fishing, and people come up and they're like, how's it going? Are you catching any fish? Yeah, I'm catching fish. What are you using? How do you answer that? Or if I'm spearfishing, I'll be down there. I will be down there literally spearfishing, loaded gun, sitting there by the jetty, doing my breathing. I'm about to go down, and somebody comes up. Hey, you see anything? I've got a stringer of fish floating on the surface. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff. I'm catching stuff. Well, where are you getting them? What are they? What are you seeing?
Why don't you get in here and find out? Get on in here, man.
I try to be nice. I'll sit there and take the time and be like, well, I'm seeing this. They're hanging out this deep around this kind of section. There's a lot of mullet in the water, so they're probably eating mullet. If you're going to be fishing for stuff, and I see that you have a fish bite on a J hook with a wire leader, so unlikely you're going to get anything.
You can get the standard, yep, pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good over here.
Let's just start making up names of fish. Like, there's some of them creek benders and rod bite.
Or pull like a dad, like dad does, and he'll just go off telling them everything that they don't want to hear about. They don't care about. Just, we just catch some earlier, catch some of these, and they're doing one of those, this is that time of year right now. Yep. It's got,
last year we were out here and there was a ton of, a cow nose rays that were coming through here, and they were swimming and beaching themselves, and it was just amazing. They're sitting there like, cow nose, that was a year. What are you talking about? This doesn't mean anything.
That's fun when they do that.
Yeah. I don't want to be rude, but man, I do try to get creative with those answers with when they start, if you have a question for me, I'll answer it. If I'm spearfishing and you're asking, hey, are you seeing any drum down there? Yeah, are they hanging out where I think they're hanging out? Yeah, it's what you're thinking. I'm going to be honest about it. But
if they're asking specifically where to throw their bait at.
The notes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. If they're asking where the bait needs to go.
Yeah, but most people don't do that. They're just, it's in passing. It's like hey, how you doing?
One. It's always one. There's always that one person.
Yeah, well, this guy over here was just he was just being nice, catch anything, the typical. And I was a little frustrated because I wasn't catching, shit. And I was trying to teach my daughter how to fish, and he was being nice. I'm like, it's fresh salt water, be catching all day long. Okay. And then he just keeps walking. Yeah, no, you have a good day.
I'm gonna have a great. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Texas Rattlesnake says, I stole some bamboo from my neighbor's backyard and made a fishing spear.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that.
There's a lot of bamboo up here, man. I don't know why. There's bamboo everywhere down by the parks because the zoo has a bunch of bamboo. And so it spreads. So it's like in some of the parks, I kind of want to go down there and grab a couple and start planting it in my backyard.
Dude, Rattlesnake, I'm honored. Thank you. I don't know why. And I got to say that I question your taste. But I appreciate it.
Because we're not afraid to tell you about, how to open a bottle.
How to gauge it.
Real hard-hitting channel over here.
Dude, he's talking about making a spear. I've actually, so Thresher Fishing, a channel down here in Corpus Christi, Cooper, he did a video recently that kind of like I thought he was going to be getting me. He made a video that's all like the title and the thumbnail is all like, let's go fishing with just this knife. And I was like, no, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a year. I want to do a $0 fishing challenge. I want to go out on the jetty and I'm going to catch fish with no tackle, with no nothing, just a knife. And I saw him do that and I was like, oh, there's no way. He beat me to my video. Turns out he didn't. He went fishing like normal fishing. He just happened to use a different knife. He went fishing.
That's funny.
But that would make a good follow-up. Now thinking about it, I'm going to do my $0 fishing challenge. I'm going to go catch fish with 0 tackle. But then most of things a blow up.
There's a lot of tackle just on. I didn't bring any tackle down to the river once. I didn't catch anything, but I didn't take any tackle or fishing gear down to the river once. And me and the girls were just scavenging around, and we found so many hooks and floats and line everywhere.
Oh, that's exactly how I'm going to do it too. I'm stealing tackle off the rocks. That's how I'm going to do it.
Too late.
Savvy and I, we went to film that video a couple weeks ago. It's about 6 weeks ago now. We went out to the jetty. It was a cleared, calm day. Wasn't as clear as I had suspected. It kind of ruined it also. But anyway, so we go out there. And we're filming, and we get all through the intro. We're probably, a good 5-6 minutes into a completed video, filming all this stuff. And we're collecting all the stuff that we're going to use, and we have about half of the tackle that we need. And then I have Savannah digging stuff out of the rocks down there, and she dropped her glasses between the rocks. Totally. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this. I put her down in between the rocks to grab some tackle. And she handed me her glasses so that she wouldn't lose them. And I dropped them down in between the rocks and we lost her glasses. I lost her glasses. Totally ruined the day. It ruined the trip. We stopped right there. I thought about making this like, can we maybe salvage this and make it like we lost her glasses while fishing video? And she was so upset. We've told her so many times, don't you lose your glasses, and it's so expensive. She was in tears, crying all the way back, walking to the car. And she's like, Mama's going to be so mad, and she's going to hate me. And I'm like, dude, I lost them. You didn't lose your glasses. I lost them. Don't worry about it. She's like,
that's all on you, man.
To replace them. She was so emotionally like upset that I was like, I'm not filming. I'm not going to keep doing this. I'm not going to do it to her. We're just going to do it. We're going to start over and do this on another day. I just felt so bad for her. So I took her out for ice cream and it sucked. Never caught a shark. I tell you what, there's when you're out there on your kayak and you're dropping spoons, take one other rod. Take one other rod, and you want a leader. You can put it on the surface of the bottom. It shouldn't make any difference at all. But if you just put, you want a couple inches of wire leader for sharks. Use a circle hook. Put a big slab of bait on there, and take a couple of backups just in case. But put a big slab of bait on that thing, and just let it drift either on the bottom or on the surface under a popping cork. Let it drift 20 feet behind your boat, behind your kayak. If you're out there for an hour or two, you will hook into a shark at some point. Now, if it's on the bottom, you're probably going to get eaten up by hardheads and crabs and things like that. So you're going to have to use multiple baits. If it's on the surface, I think you're slightly less likely to get a shark, but they do patrol the surface. They're going to smell it. They're going to get your bait. Easiest and best way to get yourself a shark is right where you're at, right outside those breakers on that bar. It'll probably be a smaller shark, but you could get into a 3 or 4 foot shark. So be prepared for that. And, a bait, a 6-inch bait on a, whatever size circle hook you would use for that, with a little bit of wire leader, and make sure you have some mono or fluorocarbon before that leader. If you have braided line on your spool, you want to make sure you have about 6-8 feet of mono or fluoro to a wire leader. You don't want their teeth cutting the mono, and you don't want their tail cutting the braid. So you do all that, you'll hook into a shark for sure. I walk out to that bar with a pocket full of bait and catch them. So that's how I do it. Yeah, hey, man, I lost one. I got a video coming out. I think it's the one that's coming out this week. I'm not sure. But I lost a pretty good sized shark on a recent trip. And that's going to be the whole story of like a recent video we got. It happens. They tear you up. I lost mine due to a malfunction that was my own fault. The shark didn't get me. I got myself, which sucks. When I was 7, I was fishing for sharks on the surface of the water, and I lost them all. I don't think it's so much about where you fish, because they're patrolling. They're going to go surface. They'll go to the bottom. They'll go either way. It's just about making sure you want a good circle hook, because you want a good hook set, wire leader, because you don't want the line getting cut across their teeth, to a strong fluoro or mono, because you don't want their tail cut in that line. And that'll get you a sure they're out there.
Do you have like a rig with you? Like a hook? Yeah.
I think so. I think I got one back here. Oh yeah. What's this guy right here? This is one I've actually used. Okay, so I use this in the surf, fishing from the beach. It's just wire leader. I got a circle hook right there, and then wire leader up to, I use one of these triple swivels. That guy right there. And then I'll just for whatever reason, I use a wire leader down to a surf weight, and then a wire leader that I take back up to the from that triple swivel wire leader back up to the actual line that I connect onto my my mono or fluoro, something like that. You obviously you're not going to need a weight like that if you're drifting. I would just put a hook to wire leader, that much wire leader, that guy. And then put that, and then have another 6-8 feet of fluoro or mono leader back to your rod, and that'll get you sharp. Last November, I went 80 miles offshore, and I saw a 10-foot hammerhead. Dude, there's some big ones out there. 80 miles is where it's at.
Do you know where you freaked me out?
I love hammerheads. They're.
No, I love looking at them. They're fun to watch, but seeing them in like the water up close is, I don't know. For some reason, they're the one that kind of freaks me out a little bit.
I could see that. You know, they are aggressive. They're aggressive species. Yeah. Those ones we were talking about jumping in the water with them, and those offshore sharks. Different ball game, because sharks on the beach they avoid you. You know, they don't want to have anything to do with you. You're just kind of a mess to them. But the ones offshore don't care. They'll just take a bite out of you just to see.
Well, the ones out by the initial oil rigs right off the beach, a couple miles out, those aren't bad either. Like swimming around with those don't bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Hammerheads. I saw that one that came up to Dad right on the beach. That one was big, and you kind of don't. It's really easy to see how big they are when they're in the clear water, but when you're out like in the channels and stuff, and you see them, you see the fins or you see their head or something flipping around. It's kind of harder to see just how big those things can get. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of why they freak me out. That thing was big. I stood behind Dad as it was like swimming up to him. I was like, "Yeah, Dad,
man,
look at that thing, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Dad."
Such a gorgeous species as your.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Rattlesnake. That was. I was out there spearfishing, man, and. I allude to this in the video, but it was a very real feeling in the water. Everything just disappeared. Everything was gone. Didn't know what was going on. And then I ran across that stingray that was swimming up there by the surface. And yeah, that's when it was real apparent. Like a couple of things you don't see in the video. So I was swimming down with that stingray because I wanted that shot. I wanted that video. I thought that was cool.
A good shot.
Rare. Yeah, rare experience. I want that shot. But immediately I went and hung out inside the rig. Sharks don't typically go inside the rig. They want to stay away from structure because they're not as versatile. They have a hard time. They don't want to get scratched up in the rig. They stay on the outskirts of it. So if you stay inside the rig, you're going to be a little bit safer. After I saw that stingray, I immediately went inside the rig, crossed over, and went back to the boat because it was pretty obvious at that point that there was something that I couldn't see that was hunting in that area. And judging by the size of that stingray, whatever was hunting around there was bigger than I wanted to be hanging out with. And if I can see them, it's fine. Like if I can see, we see 5-6 foot barracuda down there a lot. And if I can see them, I'm good to go. I want to keep an eye on them. Barracuda are aggressive, but if I can't see them, that's a different ballgame. I don't want to be in the water with something else and not being able to keep an eye on it and keep tabs on. You can tell their demeanor. You can tell if they're going to be mad or not. You can tell if they're aggressive or not. And so you want to be in the water. You want to be able to see them. You want to kind of know what's going on. You want to judge their attitude. Not seeing that stuff when you're down there is the scariest thing. Especially when you know it's there. You see like a big one on the fish finder or something.
I want to catch a tiger shark.
That'd be fun. I've heard they're good eating, and that's a bucket list eater for me. Yeah.
I've never eaten them. I don't think. Yeah, I've always wanted to catch one though.
Yeah.
I think Mako's my favorite shark to eat.
Yeah. Mako, and I've heard thresher are good, although I've never eaten one, so I couldn't say. But Mako and thresher are two that I'm like, Mako's freaking awesome.
I've never had thresher, but yeah, the Mako's really good.
I've heard Dad was talking to. I was talking to Dad about tiger sharks, and he said that they will actually, like, that's a keeper species, but you got to get them obviously 6-8 foot, something like that. You don't want the big ones. They caught a 12-footer, and there was no way that they were getting that thing in the boat. I don't even know if they wanted to. I'm not sure, but a massive.
Yeah, tiger. I think that I remember them saying they didn't want to keep that one.
There was some guys a couple years ago in Port Aransas. I don't think it was a charter trip, but anyway, they went offshore and they caught about a 10-foot tiger shark, and they brought that thing in. We joke about this to this day. I don't know how legit this is, but they hauled in this massive 10+ foot tiger shark, and they kept it. They brought it in, and they filleted it out, and then they donated all of the meat to the homeless shelter. And
they brought that in on a boat? I thought that they caught that off the beach.
No,
I remember that video. Oh, that was a different one?
Different. Yeah, this is one they caught on a boat. And this was a tiger shark. The one off the beach there was a massive hammerhead they got, and then there was a couple of Makos in the bay.
I remember the hammerhead they donated the meat. I want to say it was the hammerhead.
That tiger shark, they donated the meat. And I'm thinking, like, for one, how good is that meat going to be on a shark that's 10 foot plus? I've never eaten one. I couldn't tell you. I'm going to try it at some point, but I question that meat.
It's either very generous or very, like, I don't know, like they're trying to exterminate the homeless people.
That's the joke that we're always making is like, okay, so you kill two birds, you get to be the guy who's feeding the homeless, at the same time you get to be the guy that's ridding the city of the homeless. Those things, dude, a 10-foot
That's kind of what I thought.
You imagine how much mercury is in that meat?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they ate it. How do you distribute, like, shark? You get a bunch, let's say, 100 pounds of shark meat. You know, do you go down the streets handing it to them, like cooking it, handing it to them? You just hand it to them in bags. Hand them
slabs of fillets.
Here you go. Like, they got like a "we'll work for food" sign, and you're like, here you go, this bag of shark. It's good meat. I mean, Corpus, that's not like beyond the realm of possibility in Corpus. It wouldn't even be weird if you did that, but it would be a little weird. But
it'd be weird, but you'd be like Thomas J. Henry, generous handing it out.
That'd be a funny thing to do.
The homeless shelter are judging mercury content, or they even know anything about the size of the shark or anything, or how bad that could be.
Or maybe they have restaurants cook it or something. I don't know. It's cool.
They have like the soup kitchen set up.
Yeah, maybe something like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Texas rattlesnake, dude. I think that mercury is probably the best seasoning in the world because all of that stuff we catch out there is so much more delicious. It seems to be like the higher the mercury content, the better they taste.
Good old mercury. You got to have your dose of mercury in the morning.
Maybe that tiger shark was really, really good eating, considering how much mercury was in the meat.
I never thought mercury equaled flavor. I don't know. It always seemed like every time we ate something that might have been high in mercury, it had a real fishy flavor.
Well, think about it. I mean, the ones with the highest mercury content are the ones that you catch, the farthest offshore and are the biggest. So swordfish, big sharks, massive wahoo. Those are the guys that are going to have the highest mercury content. And I like think they taste better.
Catching sharks, but eating the big sharks, I love eating shark. But I want to say that, like, eating the bigger sharks, I want to say the smaller ones taste better. Like, I like the smaller sharks that we caught. The flavor is just better.
The meat's got a more tender, less stringy thing to it. People they stress out about it, and my apologies on that, but I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I enjoy taking those little, 2.5 foot sharks off the beach. When I catch them, I'll keep them because they're good eating. And those, let's be realistic. Those sharks they don't get that big. You don't see 10-foot black tips, so 10-foot spinners. And so it's not like I'm taking them like right out of the egg sack.
That's a good one we haven't talked about. The egg sacks. Whoa, man! Cooking roe. That might be up there with one of the weird things that we eat that I don't even think is weird, but a lot of people look at it and go like, "That's disgusting." But kingfish roe, man.
I was talking to Perry about that. We caught a fish on this Friday trip. The egg sac that we pulled out of that fish was probably like 3 pounds. Like I'm egg sac like this. It was like a loaf of bread. And well, we cooked it up, and Perry was like, "Are you seriously going to eat that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Like, how do you cook it? How'd you cook it? I like them fried, man. Yeah, you've got to fry them. Well,
but here's the thing about this. This is where this became an issue. So I fried that thing, but on an egg sac that large, that sac is a lot thicker.
So it takes longer to cook to the center.
It takes longer to cook, but it's also a chewier external thing. Like I actually had to like cut it open and like take the eggs out of the sack.
Because you can't. Yeah, I can see that. You can't like fillet it, because it's just run everywhere.
Yeah, it's grainy.
I wonder if you cook like eggs in a frying pan, the bigger ones.
Well, again, it's that skin. It was a detriment on one this size. Now, I've actually still got some in the fridge I'm going to experiment with, but I'm thinking about trying to make a dip with it.
Hold on, I gotta plug my charger back in here.
Yeah, John, that's nice. I converted John on fish eggs. I gave him fish eggs at the beach one day.
Oh yeah,
It's not bad.
They're good. I'm wondering if you could like bake or smoke them. Like you could cook a big stack of eggs if you just slow smoked them.
Yeah, that's one.
And that would taste good. Yeah, that would taste really good.
I think
mesquite smoked roe, yeah. What would you call that?
Figure something to do, like again on one that big, not like kingfish. Those are the perfect size.
Yeah, they're easy to fry.
Of roe, easy to fry. You just bite right into them. Those are perfect. Now this one that we got, like this bread loaf thing of I wanted to brine it. I wanted to try making caviar, and I didn't want them to go old, so I didn't. I just ended up frying them up. But I'm actually gonna. I want to try some different recipes with those.
I think we should try smoking them. A big thing like that, or like in a grill or something. I don't know.
That's what we did at the beach. We grilled them in foil.
Yeah, don't want to do too hot. You want to like a low heat, probably for a longer amount of time. Yeah,
I like the breading on them. Like kingfish ones, I really like that the breading to the egg ratio or whatever. I really, really like. That's the best way that I've done it so far. But I do want to experiment with it and find some new recipes. Rachel and Savvy are a little turned off to them after I did this.
Oh, really?
Bread one.
You did scrambled roe. Sunny side up.
Dude, I bet they'd make a good taco.
Yeah, or an omelet, romlet, a romelet.
Oh, I've got to
What
try
do you
it.
put in our omelet? Some shrimp.
Cilantro and jalapenos.
Oh yeah, man, cilantro. I got a thing of cilantro, but I'm the only one here that really eats it. Right, that likes it, and so I got a thing of cilantro, and it's going bad now. I tried to sprinkle just a little bit in some dinner I made the other day, and it was, she could taste it. She was nice. She didn't say anything, but I could see it. She cilantro, like busted. I tried to dice it real
I got
small.
the same thing with Rachel. I do that sometimes. She loves cilantro, but other stuff, garlic. I do that with garlic.
Man, it's cilantro, onion, and a green onion, like some diced onion, and then some green, some chives. Yep. Cilantro goes good with almost anything.
Everything.
In a taco.
Hey, what is Texas Rattlesnake says, what are your thoughts on cooking with napalm? The way to cook everything fast is napalm. Are you familiar with that? I'm not.
If it's
I've never heard of
regular
napalm.
I mean, I've heard of napalm, but I don't think that's the napalm he's talking about. Chemicals.
And that's what John says. He says like the herbicide used in Vietnam. The herbicide.
That's good.
That's awesome. I bet it gives it that with a little bit of mercury. I bet it tastes just fine.
Maybe they'll cancel each other out. Mercury and napalm.
If you serve up something cooked with napalm, again, it's like the shark. Are you doing a good thing or a bad thing?
I generally like to cook with radioactive. I like to pull my nuclear core out, and that's how I cook my meat. I'm sure that napalm's probably some cooking method that I'm just not aware of.
I'm guessing it has something to do with like a barbecue grill or something.
Yeah.
If I was to come up with a grilling style, that sounds like what I would call it, napalm.
Hey, I don't know how long we're running this thing, but I got a question for you before we get too close to the end here. I wore Snake Plissken today, right?
I noticed that.
Because I was thinking this morning, man, if there was a character, we talk about books and stuff on the podcast and good fishing books and movies. What character would you want to go fishing with if you were to take them offshore on a trip?
Oh.
And the shirt reminded me of that. I don't know if that Snake Plissken is necessarily the one I'd take with me out fishing, but he'd be up there. He'd definitely be up there.
What character would I take fishing? I bet one of the things that I enjoy most about fishing is that it is an adventure. So I'm kind of thinking Indiana Jones.
Yeah, maybe I can see that.
It's a safe choice.
Plus, I mean, this is a thought we could explore next time or whatever. I just wanted to throw the concept out there because that's going to take some real thought. You know what I mean? I wouldn't take Kevin Costner from or whatever his name is in Waterworld because that guy's a jerk.
Oh, but I bet he would make a heck of a lure. Put a circle hook in that guy.
Put a hook through him. It's done. Just throw him off the rig. Yeah, we'll catch tuna for sure. Who wants some mercury? We're going to throw this guy in the water.
Oh, Hemingway's an awesome answer. I love it. Yeah, I would definitely. I'd definitely put Hemingway at the top of that list. So, guys, on this note, we have about 2 minutes left. So, as is typically the case, John, let me see. Who is going live this afternoon, John? Is it Grant? Is it Hall and Ash? Do you know? I was totally unprepared. I should have thought about this beforehand. I'd love to drop a link to whoever is going live this afternoon. We have another live stream. A couple of us all do these together. I'm not sure who's going to be jumping on that. We're still kind of figuring out some of that stuff, but we do have another awesome live stream that's going to be happening. Grant McIntosh. So his link, actually, would you mind, I apologize, John, and I thank you for everything you do. Would you mind dropping a link to Grant's channel? I think you can always search Grant McIntosh he's high up on the search list for that one. Also, you can just type in youtube.com/Grant McIntosh. But we'll try to get a link for you on that. We all go back and forth going live on each other's channels. Grant's the one picking up this afternoon. It's a great way to end your Monday. And also, if anybody has any videos or anything coming up that you want to talk about, now is the time to do it. John, you want to drop any links to your channel, feel free to do that as well. And thank you for moderating for me here, especially without any advance notice that you're modding for me. I appreciate it. And if you don't have the ability to do that, don't worry about it. I totally understand. Oh, there it is. Okay, he's got the link for it right now. Awesome. Thank you. Peter, what projects have you got coming up? What are you doing this week?
Okay, I've got a few projects that I'm working on this week. One is I've got to start cracking down on getting a job. I've got a job that I'm actually. It's more like I've got a job that I've got to start getting ready for, and but anyways, so as far as video projects, I'm still kind of etching away at the big one. I don't know. I'm thinking just to fill the time, just to have something going. I might do some drawing, like a drawing channel. But the problem with that, it's cool, but I personally think drawing videos are kind of boring. I mean, I skip to the end every time, and I don't want to do a bunch of drawing videos that people just skip to the end. I'll probably just do that on Instagram. Plus, it takes time to do the editing of those videos, which takes me away from working on the big project. So I think right now I'm working on some stuff that might go on Instagram pretty soon.
Hey, that's cool. We need to work this out, but we need to have a link to your Instagram account on here when we do this. You can type in on Instagram if you're interested. You can check out Peter Orchard. It's just pops up on that. I think
Peter Orchard Studios is the one I have on there right now. That's okay. And it's been a while since I posted anything on it, but I'm gonna start posting some stuff on it. Just some artwork, cool stuff, comic book.
I'd like to see that.
I need to start. I'm trying to start drawing again, and I'm working on designs. Right now, I'm learning that Blender program. I'm trying to design a ship and like a spaceship. And I'm doing a lot of sketches right now, trying to design this thing before I make it in CG. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on this week.
Rattlesnake says you could do a gaming channel.
Yeah, I'm not a very good gamer, but I do have a decent setup for gaming. I play on the PS4, so it'd be kind of interesting to watch that. My Ark games are fun. I'm always making like the boat. My boat's still kicking. It took on a plesiosaurus, a plesiosaur.
Oh yeah, were you playing that on yesterday?
Yeah, I was playing that yesterday.
Savvy saw that. We were back and forth doing a few things. I ended up doing a little bit on Red Dead Redemption yesterday just to clear my head and relax for the weekend.
Well, Fallout 4 game busted, like somebody cracked it, so we're gonna have to go get a new one, but that's fine. I play Ark pretty much. That's all I ever play right now.
Yeah, we haven't made a run in town yet. We're gonna pick that up. We will be playing it with you. Savvy's dead set on it. I just hadn't run in town yet.
So far that game just keeps getting funner and funner, and I feel stupid because it's been around forever and I just now learning about it, but it's pretty. I got some funny stories on there. That might be a good idea to do a channel of me getting online. I got some funny stories. I don't want to go into it because they're funny, but yeah. Anyway,
write a note. We'll get into those in the next one, dude. Anytime we have stories, you need to hold on to those. There's some other games out there.
I get on that game online, and I don't really. I just play and I'm having fun, right? There's people on missions, and they're on a mission, and they go and do their thing, and I'm just trying to help where I can, help my tribe or whatever in this game, and then maybe make a mistake that gets all of our dinosaurs killed. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened. It wasn't me. I was out getting metal with you guys. And they're like, it must have been that new guy. Go get him. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we need to talk about that, dude, because that would be good content for a video. You don't have to be the best gamer. Just a little bit of personality makes a difference.
You need an extra video. We could do a fishing video in Ark.
I thought about doing something like that. We'll see. Because I thought about doing that with like multiple games, you know, fishing in multiple games.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. I always test the fishing aspect in a game.
Yep, same here.
Some games actually do a fairly decent job at giving you a little side thing when it comes to fishing. Yep. Red Dead's one. That's kind of fun. The hunting, fishing thing in Red Dead is actually pretty good.
Hey, I tell you what, on that note, we are over the hour and a half mark. I've had a little bit of coffee, and I really got to go to the bathroom here. I'll put a card on this one. Guys, I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. Had an absolute blast. Peter, as usual, it's always fun getting to come on here and chat fishing and life and everything else with you. Hope everybody has a wonderful week.
That's awesome.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Please consider subscribing and slapping that captain bell and doing all that fun stuff, and we will catch you in the next video. Have a wonderful week.